If your racing mind feels louder the moment your head touches the pillow, if your body feels exhausted but your brain refuses to power down, if you wake up at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. and suddenly feel alert for no clear reason, sleep science explains this may not be traditional insomnia. It may be your brain activating a protective pattern during the night, a pattern that interrupts rest even when you desperately need it, and it often happens without you realizing why. This pattern is known as the Neural Sleep Inhibition Response. It's a state where the brain quietly delays the sleep switch, where the deep sleep signal becomes weaker and unstable, where the nervous system shifts into a subtle brain safety response. Instead of fully relaxing, your brain stays partially alert, not in panic, but in quiet vigilance, just enough to prevent deep restorative sleep. And when this happens, even calming music sometimes isn't enough, because the real issue isn't falling asleep at the beginning of the night. The real issue is remaining asleep once you're there. This type of sleep fragmentation is more common than most people realize. It affects people of all ages and backgrounds, and it often leaves them blaming themselves for something biological. To understand why this happens, we need to look at what your brain is doing behind the scenes. I'm Dr. Sarah, a sleep medicine specialist with a background in psychiatry, and for years I've worked with individuals who struggle with the same frustrating pattern. They describe lying in bed feeling completely drained, yet the moment the lights go out, their brain becomes alert. Thoughts begin to circulate without invitation. The nervous system feels slightly activated instead of calm, and sleep becomes light, fragile, and easily interrupted. Many of them tell me they feel broken. They assume something is wrong with their willpower. They wonder why others fall asleep so easily. But sleep science explains a different story. When sleep fragments in the middle of the night, it's often because the brain shifts into a protective alert mode, not consciously but biologically. In this state, the hyperactive brain at night is not random. It's the result of subtle nervous system activation. Cortisol may rise earlier than it should, melatonin levels may become unstable, the circadian rhythm may lose its smooth coordination, and the sleep switch struggles to stay fully engaged. This creates shallow, easily disrupted sleep cycles. This is not weakness, it is not a character flaw, it is not a lack of discipline or effort. Studies show this pattern is a common biological response. The brain is wired to prioritize safety over rest, even when the environment is quiet and secure. The system is simply doing what it was designed to do. When the brain senses even subtle internal imbalance, it can activate what we call the brain safety response. Heart rate may increase slightly, breathing becomes a bit more alert, mental activity rises to support vigilance, and deep sleep is temporarily reduced. All of this can happen in seconds. So if you wake up in the middle of the night staring at the ceiling with your mind suddenly active, it does not mean you failed at sleep. It means your brain entered protection mode. Your nervous system believed it needed to stay aware, even if there was no real danger present. And to understand why this protective shift happens, we need to examine what changes inside the brain. During deep sleep, your brain relies on precise biological timing. Melatonin levels must remain steady and consistent. Nighttime cortisol must stay low and controlled. The nervous system needs to shift into parasympathetic calm. Your circadian rhythm must remain stable and synchronized. All of these systems work together like a coordinated orchestra. When they are aligned, deep restorative sleep unfolds naturally. Melatonin acts as the body's darkness signal. It tells the brain that it is safe to disengage. Cortisol, on the other hand, prepares you for alertness. Ideally, cortisol rises gradually closer to morning, but if it increases too early during the night, even slightly, the balance between rest and vigilance begins to shift. At the same time, the nervous system plays a critical role. If it remains subtly activated, even under the surface, the brain hesitates to maintain deep sleep. This can happen after stress, overstimulation, irregular schedules, or internal hormonal imbalance. The body may appear relaxed from the outside, but internally the system is not fully powered down. When this imbalance occurs, the brain reduces the deep sleep signal, the sleep switch becomes unstable, the neural sleep inhibition response may quietly activate, and deep sleep transitions into lighter stages. This makes the brain more sensitive to internal changes. Even minor shifts can trigger awakening. That is often when you suddenly open your eyes. Your heart may beat slightly faster, your breathing becomes more alert, your thoughts begin to move without invitation. You may not feel anxious at first, but your brain has already shifted into vigilance. It has chosen alertness over restoration. Sleep science explains this transition can happen in seconds. One small hormonal change is enough to trigger it. The brain interprets subtle signals as a need to stay aware. It prioritizes safety over deep rest. And once the brain's safety response is active, returning to sleep can feel difficult or delayed. To understand why this protective system activates so easily, we need to look at the deeper mechanism behind it. Experts in sleep health explain that many nighttime awakenings follow a similar internal pattern. Even when the surface symptoms look different, the underlying biological response is often the same. This pattern has been described as the Neural Sleep Inhibition Response. It is not a disease or a diagnosis, it is a protective adjustment inside the brain, and it can quietly interfere with deep restorative sleep. The neural sleep inhibition response activates when the nervous system remains subtly on guard. Melatonin timing may become inconsistent or delayed. Cortisol may begin rising earlier than intended. The circadian rhythm may lose its precision, and the sleep switch struggles to remain fully engaged. This creates shallow, easily disrupted sleep cycles. When this happens, sleep becomes lighter and more fragile. You may drift in and out of shallow sleep cycles. You may wake up multiple times without clear reason, or you may sleep through the night but wake up unrefreshed. The deep sleep signal never fully stabilizes. Restoration becomes incomplete, and mornings feel heavier than they should. Different people experience this response in different ways. Some describe a racing mind at 3 a.m. Others feel subtle tension in their body. Some notice vivid dreams and frequent turning. Others simply feel like their sleep doesn't work anymore. But beneath those variations, the internal mechanism is often consistent. Doctor-approved sleep research supports this protective brain model. Studies show the brain is designed to prioritize safety over depth of sleep. If internal signals suggest instability, the brain's safety response overrides the deep sleep signal. This is not random, and it is not imaginary. It is a survival-based function of the nervous system, and it operates automatically. Understanding this mechanism changes everything. Instead of fighting your mind, you begin to see the biological process underneath it. Instead of blaming yourself, you recognize the nervous system's protective design. But if the brain is activating this response for safety, the next question becomes, what is it reacting to in the first place? Many people believe the racing mind is the cause of their sleep problems. They assume their thoughts are preventing them from resting. They try to control or suppress mental activity. They blame stress, overthinking, or lack of discipline. But sleep science explains the sequence is often reversed. The awakening usually happens before the thoughts appear. The brain shifts first, and the mind follows. In many cases, the brain exits deep sleep quietly. The deep sleep signal weakens for biological reasons. Cortisol may rise slightly ahead of schedule. The nervous system may increase subtle alertness. The sleep switch becomes unstable for a moment, and only after that shift does mental activity increase. Thoughts are often a response, not the trigger. When the brain's safety response activates, the brain increases awareness to maintain protection. Heart rate may adjust slightly, breathing becomes a bit more shallow or alert. Neural activity in thinking regions rises. This creates the experience of a hyperactive brain at night. but it began as a protective biological adjustment. The racing mind is usually a symptom of a brain that has already left deep sleep. It is the mind's attempt to make sense of alertness. The brain says, "Stay aware," and the thoughts follow that instruction. You may start planning, remembering, or worrying, but the vigilance signal came first. This is why simply trying to silence thoughts does not always solve the problem. If the sleep switch remains unstable, mental quiet alone is not enough. The nervous system must feel safe again. Melatonin rhythm must stabilize. Cortisol timing must realign with the circadian cycle. Your brain isn't broken, it is cautious by design. It prioritizes safety before restoration. Even in a quiet bedroom, it monitors internal biological signals, and if something feels slightly off balance, it chooses alertness over deep sleep, which leads us to why some nights feel harder than others. Deep sleep music can be incredibly powerful. Certain frequencies and slow rhythms help calm the nervous system. They encourage slower breathing and reduced mental activity. They can gently support melatonin release. They signal to the brain that nighttime has arrived, and when the body is receptive, sleep can follow naturally. But music does not override biology. It works best when the nervous system is already prepared to rest, when cortisol is low and stable, when the circadian rhythm is aligned, when the sleep switch is ready to remain engaged. In that state, sound becomes a supportive cue. The deep sleep signal strengthens, and the brain allows deeper restoration. However, if the neural sleep inhibition response is active, the brain may resist relaxation signals. Even calming audio may not fully settle the system. The brain's safety response keeps subtle vigilance online. Cortisol may still be slightly elevated, the nervous system may remain partially alert, and deep sleep struggles to stabilize. That is why some nights feel effortless. You press play, and your body softens quickly. Your racing mind slows down within minutes. Sleep unfolds smoothly and deeply. Other nights, the same music plays, but your mind continues scanning. Your body does not fully release. The difference is not willpower, it is biological readiness. The brain must first feel safe enough to disengage. Melatonin timing must support the process. Cortisol must remain in its nighttime rhythm. The nervous system must shift out of alert mode. Only then does music amplify what is already possible. When the brain receives the right safety cues, sleep becomes natural again. The sleep switch stabilizes more easily. The deep sleep signal becomes consistent, and relaxation no longer feels forced. So the real question becomes, how do we provide those internal safety cues in a reliable way? Sleep science shows the brain sleeps best under specific biological conditions. The circadian rhythm must be aligned with light and darkness. Nighttime cortisol needs to remain low and stable. Melatonin release must occur at the right time and intensity. The nervous system must shift into a true parasympathetic state, and the brain must perceive internal safety. When these factors align, deep sleep becomes natural. Your circadian rhythm acts as the master clock. It coordinates hormone timing and nervous system shifts. Exposure to light, meal timing, and routine all influence it. When this rhythm becomes inconsistent, melatonin production may weaken or delay. Cortisol may rise too early during the night, and the sleep switch becomes less stable. Supporting melatonin does not mean forcing sedation. It means helping the brain recognize nighttime clearly. Darkness signals must be consistent. Stimulation must gradually decrease before bed. The nervous system must be guided toward calm. This strengthens the deep sleep signal and helps the brain commit to restorative cycles. At the same time, cortisol regulation is essential. Cortisol is not the enemy. It is necessary for morning energy and focus, but when it rises prematurely, it triggers the brain's safety response. The brain interprets this as a need for alertness, and deep sleep becomes fragmented. Reactivating the sleep switch naturally means reducing unnecessary nighttime alert signals. It involves calming the nervous system before bed, stabilizing hormonal timing through consistent routines, creating environmental signals of safety and darkness, and avoiding stimulation that confuses the circadian rhythm. These steps lower the neural sleep inhibition response. When these systems are supported together, the brain no longer feels the need to stay on guard. The sleep switch remains engaged longer. The deep sleep signal strengthens throughout the night. Awakenings become less frequent and less intense. Restoration improves gradually and sustainably. And this is where targeted, science-based support can make a meaningful difference. For people who need additional support, there is a doctor-approved natural nighttime formula designed to gently assist the body's sleep biology. It was developed to work alongside healthy routines, not as a replacement for circadian alignment, not as a shortcut that forces sedation, but as a supportive tool for deeper balance. This formula is designed to help stabilize melatonin rhythm. It supports the nervous system's shift into calm. It helps maintain healthy nighttime cortisol patterns, and it may assist in reducing the neural sleep inhibition response. By supporting these systems together, the sleep switch can remain engaged more consistently, and the deep sleep signal becomes more stable. It does not sedate the brain. It does not override your natural sleep architecture. It does not shut the nervous system down artificially. Instead, it supports the conditions sleep depends on. The goal is not to knock you out. The goal is to help your brain feel safe enough to rest, because true sleep cannot be forced. When the brain's safety response is lowered naturally, the body follows its own rhythm. Melatonin can rise in a stable pattern. Cortisol can remain appropriately low at night. The circadian clock can stay synchronized, and the hyperactive brain at night gradually softens. This creates an internal environment receptive to deep sleep. If you'd like to learn more about this support option, you can find it in the first pinned comment below this video. There, you'll see details about the ingredients and formulation. It is designed to complement healthy sleep habits, not to replace lifestyle improvements or routines, but to enhance the biological readiness for rest, especially for those experiencing fragmented sleep patterns. Most importantly, it was created with safety in mind. Safe, non-habit forming, designed to work with your brain, not against it. It respects your natural sleep cycles. It supports rather than overrides the sleep switch, and it aligns with how the nervous system functions. But even with support in place, many people still wonder what kind of changes they might realistically expect. When sleep biology is supported properly, many people begin to notice gradual improvements. Not dramatic overnight transformations, but subtle, meaningful changes in how the night unfolds. The nervous system feels less reactive. The brain shifts more smoothly between sleep cycles, and awakenings become less frequent and less intense. Some report fewer middle-of-the-night awakenings. Others notice that if they do wake up, they fall back asleep more easily. The racing mind episodes feel shorter. Mental activity softens more quickly. The hyperactive brain at night becomes less dominant, and the overall sleep experience feels more stable. Many also describe deeper sleep cycles. They feel as though the deep sleep signal lasts longer. Dream transitions feel more natural. There is less tossing and turning. The sleep switch seems to remain engaged, and mornings begin to feel lighter. Not perfect, but noticeably improved. Calmer mornings are often one of the first changes. Cortisol rises in a more gradual rhythm. Energy feels steadier instead of abrupt. There is less mental fog. The nervous system feels more regulated, and the body feels more restored. These shifts suggest improved nighttime balance. Results do vary from person to person. Sleep is influenced by many biological factors. Lifestyle, stress levels, and circadian habits all play a role. But studies show that when the sleep switch remains stable, the body restores itself more effectively. Hormonal rhythms become more predictable, and the brain's safety response becomes less reactive. What matters most is not forcing sleep, but restoring the internal conditions that allow it. When melatonin timing stabilizes, when cortisol remains appropriately low, when the nervous system feels safe, the neural sleep inhibition response begins to quiet. And this leads us to the final piece, understanding what it truly means when your brain wakes you at night. If you wake up in the middle of the night, it does not mean something is wrong with you. It does not mean your brain is failing. It does not mean you are incapable of sleeping well. It means your brain briefly entered protection mode. It activated a brain safety response, and it chose alertness over deep rest. This protective shift is biological. It is influenced by melatonin timing. It is influenced by nighttime cortisol levels. It is influenced by nervous system regulation, and it is closely tied to your circadian rhythm. When any of these signals become unstable, the neural sleep inhibition response can activate. But when you gradually lower that inhibition response, sleep becomes possible again. Not forced, not sedated, but naturally allowed. The sleep switch remains engaged longer, and the deep sleep signal stabilizes throughout the night. This is why supporting your sleep biology matters, because once the brain feels safe, it no longer needs to stay on guard. The nervous system can fully shift into recovery mode. Cortisol follows its healthy rhythm, melatonin rises and sustains its signal, and the hyperactive brain at night begins to quiet. At the end of this video, you'll see another video pinned. In that next video, I walk you step by step through how to naturally calm a hyperactive brain at night. You'll learn how sound, rhythm, and nervous system signaling can reinforce safety cues inside the brain, and how to strengthen the conditions that stabilize the sleep switch, so you can support deeper, more consistent rest. Watch that next, because understanding the mechanism is the first step. Applying the right signals is the second. And once your brain truly feels safe, it no longer activates protective alertness at night. It allows the deep sleep signal to remain steady. And that is where real restoration begins.